Welcome everybody to another edition of TEW 2020 as we're continuing our WWE 2013 series. That's the go-home shows for Extreme Rules 2013. So we start with Raw, live from 9,000 people in Omaha, Nebraska. We start out with, Cole and Ross going to there's a cage set up here tonight. So who knows what will happen later on as this gets a 65. They move forward to the Raw Open, which gets a 74. Good times. And then out comes John Cena. And he cuts basically John Cena promo saying, he will never give up. And if Ryback thinks that he's going to keep him down for 10 seconds at Extreme Rules, he doesn't realize what extreme methods John Cena will go to keep this WWE title around his waist. And would you rather you're going to listen, learn some hustle, loyalty, and respect Ryback, even though you have to stuff it down your throat. 93, really good promo. And then Vicky Guerrero comes out. She says, "Excuse me," and she, basically she basically brings out all the people from the big three matches at the top of the card. So we got Orton, Big Show, Mark Henry, Sheamus, and yes, Ryback, who comes out last. He sort of stares down Cena, and then basically, after they all get their moment, basically asking what the hell's going on, Vicky announces a 6-man elimination match for the main event later tonight. Not the actual main event, because main event is the Triple H Brock confrontation, but, our main event. As this gets to 75, everybody looks good and good stuff. Just continuing that. And then we move forward. We go backstage where we come out from commercial. Vicky is about to enter her office, and 3MB basically try to track her down. And they say they've had some problems with tons of fun on main event. And Vicky's like, "I don't care. I have to worry about things that actually matter, not you." And then she walks away. 49, good stuff, and then, just on main event, basically, I've had tons of fun, which is Rhodes, Clay, and Sweet Tea, aka Albert, have some run-ins with 3MB, because why not? And then we have a quick backstage segment where Gabriel catches Kid leaving Cesaro's locker room again. They have a quick confrontation. Kid says, "Look, we got a tag match later tonight against Rhodes Scholars. I'll be on your side then. Okay, that's all that matters." And Gabriel looks uncertain, but still walks away. This gets a 41, because nobody cares about these guys yet. And then, again, more hype for Triple H Brock Lesnar confrontation later tonight, which gets a 73. Then, in an extremely short match, which gets a 49, Kaitlyn and Natty Neidhart defeat Alicia Fox and Tamina Snuka in 438, when Kaitlyn pins Alicia Fox with a spear. This gets a 49. Natty gets a 61. Kaitlyn gets a 61. Tamina gets a 44. Alicia Fox gets a 53. If you wonder how those girls got these high ratings, I've got 2 words for you: eye candy. So yeah, just a straightforward divas match to put over Kaitlyn and Natty. And then Kaitlyn gets another gift from random PA who shows up after the match, but Angelo comes out and says that she's actually figured out who Kaitlyn's secret admirer is, but it'll have to wait for next week because she has to figure out 1 or 2 other things, but she's on the case. Natty again looks a little unsure about this, but Kaitlyn's happy that she's going to figure out who's been sending her these gifts, and this gets a 60. And then in a big tag match, the Shield of Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, they defeat Daniel Bryan and Kofi Kingston as the Hunters put over the big tag match and US title match at Extreme Rules. When Dean Ambrose pins Daniel Bryan with the Death Rider, should be the Dirty Deeds, following interference from, of course, Roman Reigns, who comes in, hits the spear. Ambrose hits the Dirty Deeds on Bryan, hits the 1, 2, 3. This gets a 70. Really good match. Kofi gets a 57. Daniel Bryan gets a 78. Dean Ambrose gets a 60. Seth Rollins gets a 57. Then it's basically 3-on-1/3-on-2 as Daniel slowly gets up, and then lights go out. Boom! It's Kane. He cleans house, and Team Hell No and Kofi stands together tall as the Hunters continue to hype the 2 big matches at Extreme Rules as this gets a 61. Then we have 2 tons of fun going over to Vicky, and she also ignores them and basically closes the door on them. So it seems like neither team has gotten much of any news with Vicky to get what they want. So this gets a 50. And then again, more hype for Triple H and Brock later tonight. This gets a 72. And then we have Swagger and Del Rio basically facing off, where when a random referee is flipping a coin between them to see who will fight Big E later tonight. Flips a coin, ref sees the answer, and then both Swagger and Del Rio push the cameraman out of the way. So we don't know who wins it. This gets a 66 as types up a 3-way match, ladder match at Extreme Rules. And then we have Primetime Players promo saying that they're the future of the tag team division here on Raw. It doesn't matter who they face, it's going to be prime time for them. And cancellation for the opponents. 57, solid stuff. And then, in a extremely short match, Chris Jericho just comes out and basically runs over Kurt Dawkins in 435 by submission with the walls of Jericho. This gets a 56. Jericho gets a 71. Kurt Dawkins gets a 35. And then Jericho basically cuts a quick, not quite a quick promo, but a promo where he's like, I love fun games. God, I showed up first time I showed up here on Raw. I was making fun of a couple of people. I love jokes. But at a certain time, people need to be reminded of who I am. I'm the man who beat The Rock and Steve Austin one night. I'm a multi-time champion here in the WWE. I've won more Intercontinental titles than I can remember. But every night when I go to bed, all I remember is at WrestleMania, the biggest show of the year, what should be the highlight of any person's on the WWE roster's night, I lost to Fandango, a dancing fool. So Fandango at Extreme Rules, I'm going to remind you, I'm going to show everybody that was the biggest fluke of my life, and you're going to pay for it. Then Jericho walks away, as this gets a 70. Then, there's a cage, Michael. 69. And then we have Miss TV, and, he basically comes out and says, well, I was supposed to have Randy Orton as my guest tonight, but he has a match, and he's not here. And out comes Wade Barrett, who basically, confronts The Miz and says, it's pathetic that you have TV time, and I don't when I'm the Intercontinental Champion, and you're just some dork who isn't even a champion, who lost to John Cena at WrestleMania, who was a sideshow to The Rock when The Rock wasn't even wrestling. But you get a show, and I have to beg Vicky Guerrero and Booker T for match time? I had to, go find Big Show before he was going to looking for a partner to even get on SmackDown last week, and yet you're here being upset that Randy Orton has a match? Come on. I should be the face of this company, not you. Miz like, what, you want to make something of it? Come on. And Miz like, well, I'm a Hollywood superstar, and you're a guy who thought Nexus was a good idea. Ooh. And they have a face-off, and there we go. So let's get to 66. Then we basically have a quick Cena rallying the troops moment. But basically, Cena does this Cena thing, and, Sheamus looks into it, but Orton just walks up and says, John, we're both professionals here, okay? We don't need to be hyped up. This is our life. So just, stay out of my way, and I'll stay out of yours. Ooh, tension. 75, good stuff. And then, in a bout that had decent rank for the crowd, but subpar wrestling, Team Rhodes Callers defeated Gabriel and Kid in 9:32, and Cody Rhodes pins Justin Gabriel with a crossroads after Tyson Kid wipes out Jason Gabriel by accident. So what actually happens here is basically, Tyson Kid runs in, tries to, Tyson Kid is basically on this ring, telling Justin Gabriel what to do. He gets distracted one last time. Cody takes back over, hits the crossroads, and gets the 1, 2, 3. And this gets a 56. Sano gets a 36, Cody Rhodes gets a 54, Tyson Kidd gets a 46, and Justin Gabriel gets a 46. And post-match, Gabriel and Kidd argue, and Kidd just walks away, as this gets a 45. Then, we come back from commercial, Big E's in the ring, with Dolph Ziggler at ringside, and Del Rio won the coin toss, pop 66. And then in the actual match, which was a decent match, Alberto Del Rio defeated Big E in 706 by pinfall. A good match, gets a 62 overall. Alberto gets a 64, Big E gets a 37, and yeah, Big E looks impressive because he's Big E, but he's still rookie at this point, and Alberto's going for the world title, so there you go. So Alberto gets the pinfall win, then out of nowhere, Dolph comes in, hits the zigzag on Del Rio as he's stepping up to celebrate, but then comes out of nowhere, Swagger rolls in and Ziggler with the German suplex, knock him out of the ring, then locks the ankle lock on Del Rio, and Del Rio actually has to tap, and he'll just put over that if this happens, Jack Swagger will become world champion, despite Dolph they'll just say, this will cripple, Alberto Del Rio and make it easier for Jack Swagger to climb up the ladder to become world heavyweight champion. This gets a 68. And then in the main event, which gets a 71, oh, shit. I forgot to set as elimination. Okay. This was supposed to be an elimination match. Pretend it was. So basically the idea here is, we start the faces basically at a disadvantage right from the basically after only a minute or so, when basically Sheamus runs in, but Henry is ready for him and basically hits a quick big slam and it's a world song slam and gets the pin on in like 2 minutes. Sheamus is upset, and then so it's 3-on-2. But of course, it's John Cena and Randy Orton, so they fight back. First, Cena is able to surprisingly, hit the AA on Henry and get the 1-2-3, and then Cena and Ryback, that's a basic tag match. Then Cena and Ryback brawl to the back, brawl, and that allows Orton to slip in, RKO on Big Show, 1-2-3. As after basically over, if this happens at Extreme Rules, Big Show will have nowhere to go, as this gets a 71, Sheamus gets a 67, Orton gets a 72, Cena gets a 78, Big Show gets a 72, Henry gets a 64, and Ryback gets a 64. And yeah, probably a little too long, but this is wrestling. And then Ryback and Cena brawl, with basically, there's an ambulance at ringside because of Extreme Rules. So Ryback and Cena brawl. Ryback is the advantage, and Ryback hits the shell shock on the ambulance near the ringside area. As this gets to 79, type up that match for Extreme Rules. And then we have the final confrontation, which is basically what happens. There's Triple H comes down, the cage goes down, on him just around the ring, and basically Triple H goes over, this ring is where I became a man, and after a year, Extreme Rules, one way or the other, we'll figure out actually who is the bigger man at Extreme Rules, because I know I'm the game, and I'll be the one walking out here to Paul and Brock. Triple H calls Brock to come in, and Heyman's like, no, my client Brock Lesnar isn't being paid tonight to wrestle. He's being paid to appear. If you want to see him wrestle, you need to pay for Extreme Rules, because that's when my client is being paid to wrestle and destroy Triple H once and for all inside that steel cage. But for now, these idiots in Omaha and those idiots watching on TV get nothing. And Triple H just basically explains back, hey Brock, how do your balls look on Paul Heyman's desk? Brock, gets angry about the fight, and Heyman, basically tries to block him, but Brock gets in the ring and the brawl is on, and it looks like Triple H actually has the advantage, but Brock fights back, but then Triple H gets out the sledgehammer and is able, hit Brock in the shoulder with it before basically but then Brock slides out and there's a face-off as we end the show, as this gets an 81. And overall, the show gets an 80, which was actually a good show. I just, we're not getting any popularity right now because of the whole, falling to medium thing, which is unfortunate. But what can you do? I mean, have better shows at the start there. I guess that's what it could have done. But yeah, that was fun. I think that was actually a decent show. I mean, I did steal some some of it off from real life, but basically I wanted to basically do the same booking up to Extreme Rules to a certain extent. Obviously, there's other stuff going on, like the Gabriel and Kid stuff, and the other stuff that's going on. But nothing too off the rails. Let's see here. Mike Nintendo thinks Reigns is a star. Wow, interesting. Orlando's now a regular wrestler, and Dylan Post is a well, yeah, that's more but okay, that makes sense. Fun stuff. Yeah. So yeah, again, if you look at our actual size, so we would have gained a little bit of popularity from that, so not the end of the world or anything. But what can you do? But I'll be back in just a second with Smackdown, so you'll enjoy that in just a moment. So it's time for the Go Home Smackdown for Extreme Rules, and the show starts out with basically Dolph, Swagger, and Del Rio all coming out arguing, over who's going to climb to the top of the ladder at Extreme Rules and keep the World Heavyweight Champion. Dolph says he's the must-see athlete in the WWE today. He's always going to climb that ladder easily. Swagger says he could have been an Olympian. He's American made, and Del says he's the man who should be at the top of the WWE right now. So basically, they can fight and argue. But Gertie says, okay, Sekas, I don't need you fighting all night, so I'm going to keep you busy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to find 3 opponents for each of you. We're going to fight tonight. And that way, you'll be too damn tired to get involved in each other's business. He walks away, 69, so all stuff to start things out. Then we go backstage where 3MB are on SmackDown, I guess. Okay. 45. Little, like, segment where they're basically sneaking in the back door. Then we have Barrett and Miz confrontation clips from Raw, where it's announced that tonight it'll be Wade Barrett versus Miz for the Intercontinental title in the main event. So this gets to 62. Then about that returns to the crowd with Sapar Wrestling and Team Rhodes Callers defeat the New Age Outlaws in 6:33 by pinfall when Rhodes pins Rhodes little dog with across Rhodes. Said Rhodes way too many times in that sentence. This gets a 51, solid win for Rhodes and Sandow, as Rhodes gets a 54, Sandow gets a 37, Road Dogg gets a 46, and Billy Gunn gets a 44. No post-match Rhodes Scholars basically, take the mic and say, make fun of the New Age Outlaws, say, you old dogs, you don't have any new tricks. It's time for people like us, who are smart, intelligent, and skilled, rule the tag team scene instead of two old men who are saying the same lines they did 10 years ago. 62, so you'll build promo. Then we go backstage where Dolph, AJ, and Big E are hyping up. Dolph says, don't worry about it, guys. I got this. I'm going to see why I'm the most must-see superstar in the WWE today. 68. Then, Raw Rebound featuring Brock Lesnar gets a 70. Then we have Dolph Ziggler defeating Sin Cara at 6:20 by pinfall to Zigzag. Back and forth, basically spot match. Dolph gets the win. This gets a 73. Dolph gets a 74 because he's awesome. Sin Cara gets a 36. Good stuff. And Dolph celebrates afterwards to a 72. Then also, tons of fun wrestle here on SmackDown, which is interesting, as they're also, but they're coming in, right, also through the back door, also sneaking in. So this gets a 48. Then we have Jack Swagger defeating Ted DiBiase Jr. in 5:38 by submission with the Patriot Lock. This gets a 45. Swagger gets a 50. Ted DiBiase Jr. gets a 41. Just a straight head squash for Swagger. And then Swagger keeps hold on for a minute before letting it go and making the title belt motion to walking away, as this gets a 46. And basically, tons of funk and 3MB almost have a throwdown backstage, but Theodore Long gets between and says, "Look, I don't know what kind of business you guys have on Raw, but this is a civilized place here on SmackDown. So you guys are not going to fight all over the backstage area here. I'm going to talk to Booker, and I'll figure something out for you." 49. Then in about that good heat in decent wrestling, Alberto Del Rio defeated Ontario Cesaro in 11:45 by pinfall with a 68. Again, back and forth match, but Del Rio is that much better, and he's in the equal title match. So he gets, he hits whatever his finisher was at this point, that weird kick thing from the top. And Cesaro gets a 65. Cesaro gets a 56. Del Rio gets a 65. And then of course we have the post-match brawl. What happens is basically, a ladder gets involved. Del Rio actually dies onto it on both Del Rio and Ziggler. But then, so Swagger comes back in and goes crazy with the ladder, going after Del Rio until WWE officials get involved and break everybody apart, as the announcers put over, that this will be the big ladder match at Extreme Rules, as this gets a 72. And then, JD tries to talk to Booker, but Booker's like, 3MB, tons of fun. So I got men fighting with the ladders. I got an Intercontinental title match. Okay, I give you the power to figure things out on your own. Okay? Not tonight, though. Things are all filled up. But after next week, okay? Tay Long agrees, and this gets a 50. And then in a decent match, Seth Rollins, who gets getting a US title shot at Extreme Rules, defeats Evan Bourne in 908 by pinfall with a curb stomp. This gets a 61. Seth Rollins gets a 60. Evan Bourne gets a 46. And then we have a post-match segment where basically Kofi comes out, basically each other's know. But he business Rollins is like, "Look, I'm all alone. There will be no Hounds of Justice tonight." But that was just a little preview of what's going to happen to you, Kofi, when I rise to where I should be in this business, and you fall back down where you belong. This gets a 57. Good stuff. Then again, Extreme Rules height, basically, hey, we have big matches. Lesnar Triple H, Cena, Ryback, other matches. 68. And then an extremely short match, Layla defeated Oksana in 3-2 by submission. This gets a 29. Not the best thing because, basically just a quick submission, and Layla celebrates to a 49. And then in our main event, which gets a 57, so not quite as good as I wanted, Wade Barrett defeats The Miz in 14:29 when Wade Barrett, it says beat Miz so badly that he had to stop match. Basically, Barrett hits his bullhammer, and Miz is just KO'd. Like, he's just laid out, and the ref has to stop the match. So Barrett makes defense number 2 of his IC title. This gets a 57. Not as quite as good as I wanted, but I didn't set up a storyline for these guys, so, not the end of the world or anything. But just a quick straight-ahead win for Barrett. as he basically, he stands over the Miz as he's KO'd and holds his title afloat, says, I deserve, this is what I deserve. I deserve to be main events. I deserve to be a focus in the WWE. So I hold this title, I hold it proudly, but I hold it defiantly against everybody who doesn't want me to have this belt. 69, good stuff, and the show itself got a 65. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Smackdown, what can you do? I mean, have better people on it? Yes. I mean, why would you want to do that? Regardless, let's just see if there's any interesting news. I'm sure Sportsnet will be mad at us again, but, that's what we have backup people for those areas for Smackdown, at least till we actually get better stuff. All right, so. Yes, I know. People are unhappy. I don't care. Let's see here. So, storyline-wise, just to go over things, we got Orton and Big Show at a 73, AJ leading Kaitlyn at a 64, the three-way feud for the World Heavyweight title at a 68, Mark Henry Sheamus at a 71, Dancing Fools at a 60, Cena Ryback at a 75, Shield Hell No at a 67, and Brock Triple H at a 61, which is interesting. Don't know why it's so low. That's weird. I don't know. Weird stuff happens. Anyway, let's go over the lineup for Extreme Rules real quick, just so you guys remember what it all is. So, and also just creative-wise, who's not at the moment? Ziggler, Lee, Punk, Rollins, Reigns. Who's not is Miz and Bryan, so need to fix that momentum probably. Or not, what can you do? But as far as pre-booking, again, Extreme Rules. In the main event, Triple H versus Brock Lesnar in a cage. We got John Cena versus Ryback in a one-on-one last man standing match. We got Del Rio versus Ziggler versus Swagger in a ladder match for the World Heavyweight title. We have Fandango versus Chris Jericho. We have Mark Henry versus Sheamus in, I think it'll be a strap match. I forget. I'll figure that out. Randy Orton versus Big Show in a no DQ match. Seth Rollins versus Kofi Kingston for the US title. And, of course, for the tag team titles in a tag team tornado match, the Shield of Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose taking on Team Hell No with the tag titles on the line. It's a big post-WrestleMania show, and also it'll be the beginning of basically my actual booking, as I haven't done exactly the same booking as in real life, but just enough to sort of get there. But now we sort of we have some RNG to giving us some stuff to do, and also just in general some of my other plans as we do some building. But that's it for now. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and give it a like. Subscribe to the channel for more TEW content. Comment on what you're liking and not liking. And got lots of other stuff on the channel. We got WCW 2001, now 2004, heading towards Super Brawl. We've got WCW 1994, which just finished Super Brawl, is now heading towards Spring Stampede. And we've got our MLW 2005 series, which is just heading towards another big show. But that's it for now. So talk to you later, and adios. Have a good one.